Hello learners, welcome to this Facebook live session. Today we are going to discuss one of the very important aspect of one of your important course, that is MES 016 Educational Research of MA Education Program of Indira Gandhi National Open University. Before starting our discussion, let me to introduce myself. I, Dr. Niradhar De, faculty member, School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University. Welcome you all to this Facebook live session. Friends, regularly we are taking Facebook live session as well as in YouTube also we are taking the session to understand about the brief about different courses that are included in your MA education program. Long before we have started our discussion, I have taken many sessions in this Facebook live platform. I have discussed your first course, that is the first year of MA education program course, that is MES 011. Then we have also discussed MES 01 to the second course of MA education program. We have also discussed MES 013, 014 as well as 015. And presently, now we are engaging ourselves in the discussion of the last course of first year MA education program. The course title is MES 016. This is the code, and course title is Educational Research. And in this course, 5 different blocks are there. We have already discussed in our last 2 Facebook live sessions. First two blocks we have discussed. First block is perspective of knowledge, we have already discussed, and second block is different types of studies in educational research. We have discussed about descriptive study, we have discussed philosophical research, historical research. At the same time, we have also discussed experimental research and different design of experimental research. And today in this session, we are going to discuss the third block of this course. Block title is Research Design. When you are pursuing your dissertation work, your research in MA education program, how can you design your research? So what I understand, whatever theoretical construct that you have received from this course MES 016, so here you have to practice it when you will do the dissertation work. So that's why how you will design your research, if it is an experimental research, if it is a type of descriptive study, how can you design your study? Okay, so how you define your sample, how you can select your sample, what type of tool you are supposed to construct or select for conducting your study. So and whether there is the need of stating hypothesis in your study. So all such important aspect we will be discussing in this block, in this third block of your course. The block is research design. So friends, before wasting much of your time, now let us proceed further to know about that what are the different aspects of MA education program. Just you can say brief understanding about the overall components of MA education program, and then after within you can say 4-5 minutes we will just proceed to discuss our today's topic, that is research design. First of all, now admission for the MA education program is going on. If you have not taken admission, you can go through the IGNOU website, that is www.ignou.ac.in. On the home page of IGNOU website, you will find the online admission portal. You have to follow the instructions for filling the admission. Now admission date has extended till 15th of September 2021 for July 2021 session. Let me to focus upon some of the important aspect of MA education program. First of all, so far as eligibility of this program is concerned, eligibility is a bachelor's degree in any discipline with or without a degree in education from a recognized university are eligible to pursue this program. Total credit of this program is of 68. The learners, they have to study 34 credits in the first year of the program and again 34 credits in the second year of this program. Duration of this program, minimum duration is of 2 years and maximum duration is of 4 years. You have to complete your program within the maximum duration, that is 4 years. And I am hopeful that you will engage yourself in studies, and you will complete your program within the minimum duration of time, that is 2 years. So far as IGNOU practice is concerned, we offer this program, MA education program, in both the session. That means both the session in a year. That means in January as well as July. I have already said that July 2021 admission cycle is now going on. Date has been extended for 15 days. So now you can take direct online admission. Let us go forward. So far as medium of instruction is concerned, you know that this program is developed in English medium. However, one can write their assignment, term and examination and dissertation in Hindi medium if you wish to do this. Total program fee is of 18,400 for January 2021 session, that you have to pay in 2 installments. That means at the time of admission in first year you have to pay 9,200, and during the second year, that means at the time of readmission, you have to pay again 9,200. Then further, so far as different grouping of the courses are concerned in MA education program, you will find that this program comprises in 4 groups of courses with differential weightage. Group A, that is basic course on education. Group B is the core courses. Group C is courses on knowledge generation in education. And Group D is the specialized areas in education. Let us go forward to know about what are the different courses are there in different group. In first group, that is basic course on education, you will find only one course. Course code is MES 011. Course title is Understanding Education. That you have to study in the first year of this program, and this is a 4 credit course. In Group B, 4 courses are there. All the courses are core courses. And in Group B, 4 courses are just like MES 012 Education, Nature and Purpose, MES 013 Learning, Learner and Development, MES 014 Societal Context of Education, and MES 015, that is Operational Dimensions of Education. Each course in Group B is of 6 credit. So total 24 credits you are supposed to study from this group, that is in the first year of this program. Then in Group C, you will find the courses on knowledge generation in education. In Group C, 2 courses are there. First is MES 016, course title Educational Research, that presently we are discussing in this session, the 3rd block of this session. And this course is included in the first year of this program. This is a 6 credit course. And the second course under knowledge generation courses is MESP 001, that is dissertation. You have to do a project, you have to do a small research work, and you have to write a report. And this is the practical aspect of this program. You can say that whatever theoretical construct on research and other areas that you have studied, you have to practically implement it. You have to conduct a study, you have to acquire research skills and competencies. Okay. And this course is kept in the second year of this program, and this is a 10 credit course. Then Group D, that is the specialized areas in education. Here you will find 5 different specialized areas are there that you have to study in the second year. What you have to do, the learners have to select any one area among the 5 areas and have to study all the courses in that area. Total credit in each area is 24. So here 5 areas are there. What you have to do, you have to select any one area, and under that area all the courses you have to study. You will find 4 or 5 courses are there in one area, and total credit, if you will include the total credit of courses in a single area, then you will get 24 credits that you have to study in one area, all the courses. Here again, under specialized areas of education, you see higher education, distance education, educational management, educational technology, and adult education. 5 different areas are there, and these are the courses under this column courses. Just like in higher education, MES 101, 102, 103, and 104. Accordingly, in distance education, educational management, educational technology, and adult education, you will find the courses. So you have to select any one area among these 5 areas, and you have to study all the courses that are included in that area. Then further in group C, specifically that we are discussing today, that is courses on knowledge generation in education. Under this group, the first course which is included in the first year, that is MES 016, course title is educational research. This is a 6 credit course. We are just discussing. The course has been designed in 5 blocks with 23 units. The course of educational research. 5 different blocks are perspective of education, first block. Different types of studies in educational research is the second block. Research design is the third block. Data analysis and interpretation is the fourth block. And research reports and applications are the fifth block. Already we have discussed the first 2 blocks, and now we are focusing upon research design, that is the third block of this course. Let us go forward. So friends, as you know that under each block you will find few units, either 4 or 5 units. So here under the third block, research design, 4 different units are there. Just like unit 10 is identification of problem, that is research problem, and formulation of research questions. Then unit 11 is hypothesis, nature, and formulation, the concept of hypothesis, the nature of hypothesis, as well as how to state hypothesis, how you formulate hypothesis, that we will study. Then in unit 12, sampling. Sampling is one of the very important aspect of your research course as well as in dissertation. That sampling is addressed in unit 12 of this block. Then unit 13 is tools and techniques of data collection. So what are the different tools, what are the different techniques that you're supposed to use for collecting data for your research, that we'll discuss in unit 13. Now let us start our discussion from the first unit, that is unit 10, identification of problem and formulation of research question. Friends, let me to make it clear that research design is one of the very important aspect so far as educational research theoretical course is concerned. At the same time, implementing in a research or doing the dissertation work is concerned. Okay, so that's why I will take 2 sessions in this block, that is under research design. And today in this session we will be discussing unit 10, that is identification of problem and formulation of research questions. Then unit 11 also will discuss hypothesis, its nature and formulation we will discuss. And under unit 12, sampling is there. Sampling is of 2 types. One is the probability sampling and other is the non-probability sampling. So friends, today what we will be doing in this session, we will discuss unit 10, then unit 11, then the probability sampling part of unit 12. And in our next session, I will inform you that when the next session we will discuss the rest part of unit 12, that is non-probability sampling, as well as unit 13, that is tools and techniques of data collection, we will be discussing in the next session. Now let us go forward to discuss about the unit 10 of research design, that is identification of research problem and from formulation of research question. So friends, so far as research problem is concerned, many a time I received queries from you that from where you will select a problem. Okay, so let me to make it clear that you have studied theory courses. You have studied theory courses in MA education program, and the theory courses are related with history of education, related with philosophy of education, related with a sociological perspective of education, psychological perspective of education. At the same time, different specialized areas also and operational dimensions also we have already studied, that the system of education in our country, it may be related to school education, it may be related to teacher education, may be related to higher education. At the same time, from different specialized areas, we have studied educational technology, we have studied educational management, you have studied adult education, distance education, as well as higher education. So you can also select a topic relating to education from different specialized areas that you have studied. At the same time, different core areas that you have studied in the first year of your program. Okay. And as this is a master program in the discipline of education, so that's why the topic that you will select, the theme that you will select, the title that you will select for your dissertation work, it should be related with, it should be linked with, it should address the broad concept of education. Okay, it may be problems related with the students, problem related with the teacher, problem related with the curriculum, problem related with or you can say our education system. At the same time, many other you can say areas of knowledge. It may be measurement and evaluation, it may be curriculum construction, it may be a type of philosophical study, it may be a type of historical study to know the development of education in a country. Okay, so starting from school education, teacher education, higher education, you have lot of insight within you, and at the same time the scope is very vast so far as the discipline of education is concerned. Okay, so the topic that you will select, it should directly address the issues of education, the concerns of education. Okay, and then that will be a type of relevant study for your dissertation work. And I have already said that you can, to identify a research problem, first of all you have to select one area, whether that area is technology, educational technology, measurement, or educational philosophy, educational psychology, school leadership and management, okay, distance education, or at present the things which is going on across the country or across the globe. So far as now we are just in a transitive situation, we are just moving from you can say open and distance learning system to cope with in an online and blended learning system. Okay, so that's why this is also another important aspect. You can explore certain topics, certain theme, you can also conduct your study. And further to explain it more about the sources for selecting a research problem, what are the different sources that you will be using for selecting a research problem? First of all, the theories that you have studied. The theories may be related to psychology, may be related to philosophy, may be related to you can say pedagogy, teaching and learning process. Okay, so when you are going through the theories, you are getting many knowledge, many understanding, many insight within you, and you are also getting many questions how to implement a particular pedagogy, how a pedagogy is suitable for teaching mathematics, but that is not suitable for teaching social science. So that's why certain questions should come to your mind, and when you are going through, when you are studying the theoretical construct of education, may be the psychological construct or the contribution of psychology for education, contribution of development of education or history of education for understanding education in a better way. So that things will help you, the theoretical construct and knowledge will help you for selecting a research problem for your dissertation work. Then experience of the researcher. Friends, you are the researcher, you have a lot of knowledge, you have you can say good understanding, because every day you are studying the material, you are just gaining more and more experiences, you are dealing the situation. Okay, so that's why the researcher's own experience is also one of the source for selecting a problem. Let you are facing in your immediate environment, let you are working in a school or Even if you are not working in a school, in your community, in your society, you might have observed that certain children are there and they are really differently able, जिसको हम दिव्यांग कहते हैं. Okay, and how they manage their work, how they engage themselves in studies, in daily activities, and how they excel in their life. So that also you can do, and it should be from your own experience. So that's why whenever you select a research problem, my request to you all that it should be a felt need of the present time. At the same time, it should be your problem. Your problem means, as a researcher, you should select that problem. Okay, and this problem should not be borrowed, or this problem should not be any other's problem. So if it is your problem, then definitely you will be engaging yourself, you will be motivated for conducting the study. Okay, so that's why researchers experience is one of the very important aspect so far as research problem is concerned for dissertation work. Then discussion, many a time you are discussing with the experts, with the subject experts, with the teachers, and many a time your teachers are also suggesting, giving certain advice that at this present time, what are the important aspects for conducting your study. As I was talking earlier, now NEP 2020, National Education Policy 2020, is getting implemented across the country in different aspects. Okay, so when you will go through different chapters or different themes, different aspects of NEP 2020, you will find that many such areas are there. You can by selecting that area, you can also conduct your study. Multidisciplinarity is one of the area. How to make our curriculum, how to implement a multidisciplinary curriculum to the students. Okay, and it's like the new pedagogical structure, new curricular structure, that is 5+3+3+4 system of education. You can just compare a study, taking a group of students, taking a group of teachers, that what the teachers say about the earlier practices, you can say the system of education, that is 10+2+3 system of education, and the present, the new structure, pedagogical structure and curricular structure of school education, that is 5+3+3+4 system of education. So that's why all such things will emerge when you will talk, when you will discuss with the subject experts, when you will discuss with the teachers. Okay, so that's why discussion is another important aspect that will help you for selecting your problem. Then dissatisfaction. So many a time you will find that for implementing certain issues, when you are taking ideas and when you are taking opinion of a group of teachers, group of experts, group of students, you will find that in some cases, in some aspects, teachers are highly satisfied, educationists are highly satisfied, but at the same time, in many other aspects, you will find that still then certain dissatisfaction is there, certain gap is there. So why not you select that those gap and to conduct a study, how to resolve that issue. So that will be a real contribution from your part towards the knowledge society. Okay, so the dissertation of MA education program, don't think that this is just like a type of academic requirement. If you are really motivated towards your studies, you can also do certain new work. It may be a very micro level work, maybe a very small work, but that can be a new contribution towards the knowledge society. The society, its impact should be felt by the society. And the literature is also another important aspect. Literature means the studies that have already been conducted. Okay, so, and what you will be doing, you have to collect the literature which has already conducted, and the literature, you have to go through the literature and you have to find that what are the different studies have been conducted, and what is the suggestions, what is the recommendations given by the earlier researchers on the same topic, on the same area, on different theme on education. So when you will go through the recommendations for further studies, you will find you will get enough knowledge, enough insight, enough idea for selecting a problem for your dissertation work. And for the to discuss more about this unit, identification of problem and formulation of research question, then further important aspect, that is the statement of the problem. After selecting a research problem for your study, then you have to explain, you have to develop a statement. Okay, you have to write the statement of the problem. So many a time what I have observed that the students, what they're doing under this this point statement of problem, the learners, they are just writing the title of the research. It is not all about only the title of the research. This is a statement of the problem. It means you have to explain your study. Okay, so what are the different variables that you have used, and what is the aim of the study, and how why your what is the importance of your study, what are the different aspects that are included in your study. You have to explain it. So that will be a detailed description of your problem, a type of concept note, you can say. That is a concept about the problem, about the research problem. And it should not be just like a title within 2 lines, within 1 line. At least you should explain it within few paragraphs about this problem. Means when the reader will go through the statement of your problem, the readers will get an idea about what you are really going to do. Okay, and further, after selecting the research problem, after developing or after stated the research title, then the next important aspect, that is the research question. You have to state certain research questions. So friends, let me to say that in MES 016, in unit 10, you will study that what are the important aspect and how you can state the research question. But here I am just telling you the concept of it, what is the importance of research question. Here you see, being a researcher, when you are proceeding for conducting a research study, for conducting a dissertation work, you have selected a problem, and definitely certain questions will be there in your mind. Without question, you cannot do a study. So that's why, and without question there is no issues also. So that's why certain questions definitely comes to your mind. And your work, being a researcher, your work is to solve those questions, find the solutions of those questions. जो प्रश्न आपके मन में आता है, वो प्रश्न का उत्तर क्या है, व्हाट इज द आंसर ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन. For getting the answer of these questions, you are just conducting the study, you are just adapting, or you are just making a design of your study. Okay, so that's why research questions should be there. Research question will further help you to state the objectives of your study. On the basis of the research question, you will state the objectives. Okay, आपका जो अनुसंधान आप करेंगे, जो रिसर्च आप करेंगे, जो शोध कार्य आप करेंगे, उसका उद्देश्य क्या है. So the objectives of the study will be based upon the research questions. And further, from the objectives you have to state the research hypothesis. Okay, and hypothesis is not necessarily to be stated in all types of studies. Rather, if it is a type of explorative study, you can state hypothesis. Otherwise, no need of stating the hypothesis. If it is a quantitative study, you are going to find out certain relationships, certain associationship, and certain difference. Okay, and if you want to compare quantitatively certain aspect, then you can state a hypothesis. And otherwise, if it is a type of qualitative study, and if it is not an explorative study, now if it is an explorative study, then you can state your hypothesis. In the next unit, when we will discuss hypothesis, we will discuss detail about this. So here, what I mean to say, 3 important things. First of all, research question. Without research question, no researcher will do a perfect work. That's why certain questions should be in the mind of the researcher, and those questions the researcher will write. And on the basis of the questions, further the researcher will state the objectives of the study. Okay. Objectives is not exactly the research question. Research questions may be many, but objectives may be few. And many a time, researchers may be few, research questions may be few, but research objectives may be many. Okay, but the objectives should be stated to get the answer of this question, to give a clear cut idea that how you will conduct this study. What is the aim for conducting this study? Okay, so that's why you have to state the research question, then after research objectives, then further the hypothesis if it is required. Then another important aspect which is part of this unit, that is delimitation of the study. आपका स्टडी का सीमांकन आप कैसे करेंगे? So what is the theoretical construct, what is the concept of delimitation of the study? So let me to say that every topic or every research title, you will find that research title is not so concise. Research title is not so involved, rather research and so limited. Research title is many a time you will find in a first glance, when you will read the research title, you will think that this is a broad problem. This is a vast problem, and you will feel certain largeness is there in the research problem. And it is not possible many a time to conduct the study whatever the title, whatever this has been mentioned in the title, so far as its area is concerned, so far as different variable and population is concerned. That's why there is a provision, there is a step, there is certain scope in your study that you can delimit of your study. आपका स्टडी को सीमांकन कर सकते हो. You can just bring certain limitation for your study, and how you can bring the limitation that you have to understand. And in the second year, when you will conduct the dissertation work, you can also delimit your study that you have selected. First of all, different aspects that you have to follow for delimiting your study. First is that's called as certain variables. So you can delimit your study in certain variables. So friends, you can conduct your study taking 2 variables. You can conduct your study taking 3 variables. Let me to give one example. Let's study habits and achievement. Study habits and achievement. So here you can just compare study habits and achievement with home environment. So home environment is one variable. Study habits or the learning style of the learners is the second variable, and achievement of the learners is the third variable. You can conduct a study taking these 3 variables. You can say home environment or learning environment, at the same time learning style or the study habit, and achievement of the learners. And you can also simply conduct a study habits with achievement. Okay, you may take the third variable, or you may not, or you conduct the study without taking the third variable. So that's why when you conduct a study, you can delimit with certain variables that what are the different variables that you are going to study. Many a time you can say that the problem that you have selected, the research problem that you have selected, that can only be done taking with only 2 variables. Other variables can be taken, but being a researcher, you have to delimit, you have to think, you have to bring certain limitations that what are the different variables you can study, you can conduct within a stipulated time period, maybe within few months. This is an academic research. You will just get few months of time for conducting your study. So that's why within 6 months or within 3 and 4 months, how you do justice for your study. So that's why you can delimit, you can bring certain limitation of your study in variables. And further, size of the sample is another important aspect. Size of the sample. You see, when you will go through the title of your study, you will find certain idea about the area, but so far as size of the sample is concerned, many a time it is simply not possible to conduct the study, if it is a quantitative study, if it is a survey type of study, by taking the entire unit of the population. Let as example, in your title, let you have addressed all the secondary teachers in a district. Okay? And you will find that even if the area is limited to a district, in a district you will find it may be 500 secondary teachers or 400 secondary teachers. It may be more than that also. And for your master dissertation or for a small research, many a time it is not possible to conduct the study taking the entire unit, that means the entire secondary teachers of a district or of a state. So that's why you have to delimit it. You have to delimit it so far as the size of the sample is concerned. So you can delimit in terms of certain percentage. That means let 5% of the population will be the sample of your study, 10% of the population will be the sample of your study. So here you see, you are not delimiting two concepts. I'm just telling here, when you will study about sample and sampling, it means how to select a sample from a population by using sample sampling technique. And for the when I talk about delimitation of your study, you can also delimit the size of the sample is concerned. So that's why don't be confused. It is also a part of sampling, and it is also a part of delimitation of your study and further area of the study. The most important aspect is to delimit the area of your study. Area of your study. So friends, you see, let in your study you have mentioned that the area of your study is either a district or a state, and many a time it is simply not possible. One second please. Yes, many a time it is not possible to conduct your study taking the entire area, entire population. Okay, let in your study you have mentioned that the entire state is your population. Can you conduct your study taking the entire state? So that's why what you can do in area of the study, you can delimit the area of the study. That means in a state you will find certain districts are there. Okay, it may be 10, 20, or uh, let 30 districts are there. So what you can do, you can just delimit it that the title of the study addresses a state, but so far as districts are concerned, 20% districts will be taken for conducting the study. Let the state is having 50 districts, so 20% districts will be 10 districts. Okay, so what you can do, randomly you can select 10 districts and conduct your study. And here there is no problem that the result that you will get, if you have select the sample by using the probability sampling technique, the results that you will get, you can generalize that result upon the population. Okay, so that's why delimitation of the study is very much useful for delimiting the area of the study. Okay, and here let me to say one thing, that many a time NCRT and other national institute, they conduct large project. Okay, taking the entire country, and it is not possible to conduct study taking the entire country. So that's why what they do, they delimit the area so far as different region is concerned. Even if in a state different region is concerned, you'll find that the researcher, they delimit the study. Okay, so that's called as delimitation of the area of the study. Then further, tools and techniques for conducting the study. Okay, you see, for collecting data, many tools you can use. You can use a questionnaire, you can use a type of interview schedule, you can also use observation as a technique for collecting data. You can use for measuring the attitude of the teachers, attitude of the students. You can also use a type of attitude scale. So here many tools can be used for collecting data, but here you have to delimit, and you have to define, you have to bring a limitation that what are the different tools you will be using for collecting data, which is practically, which is very much practical for collecting the data. So that you have to do. Then methods and design, as you know, that keeping in consideration of the nature of the problem, we can conduct a qualitative study, We can also conduct a quantitative study, and we can also conduct a mixed method types of study, both quantitative and qualitative. Okay, and we can conduct a type of survey research, a field study. We can also do a type of case study. We can also do a type of experimental study, a type of philosophical study, or historical study. So different methods, it may be a philosophical method, it may be historical method, it may be experimental method, it may be a descriptive research method that we can use. But many a time you will find that the scope of your study, many a time it deserves, or the scope says that more than one method can be used. It can be a mixed method types of study. So that's why what you can do, you have to delimit your study, that what are the specific method you are going to use for conducting your study. For the next unit, now let us discuss about hypothesis, the concept of hypothesis, and we'll discuss about the nature of hypothesis and how we state hypothesis, how you can state the hypothesis, write hypothesis for conducting your study, and how you can verify, how you can test hypothesis also, that we'll discuss. So far as concept of hypothesis is concerned, you see the term hypothesis comes from two words, that is hypo and thesis. Hypo means less than, and thesis means truth. So it is a statement of less than truth on a problem. So we can say that the meaning of hypothesis is less than truth. It is not exactly truth, but tentatively this is like truth, and basing upon a hypothesis you have to conduct your study. So hypothesis will be a base to reach at the truth. So that's why it is called as, it is not exactly the truth, rather it is less than truth. Means hypothesis will help you to justify, to test, or to verify the truth, or to reach at the truth. Then further we can say that hypothesis is an assumption about the solution of the problem. So this is a type of assumption. You have to assume something. आप अनुमान लगाएंगे. You have to assume certain things, that this is the truth, and basing upon your assumption you have to conduct the study, and further your assumption may be true or may be false. When you will test it, so you may reject the hypothesis or you may accept the hypothesis also. All your assumption, all your hypothesis, you can say that it is always true. So that's why in the process of conducting the study, you can reject the hypothesis, you can also accept the hypothesis. Then further we can say that it is a tentative guess of the result of the study. So what will be the result of the study? It's a tentative guess. You are just guessing something. आप कुछ अनुमान लगा रहे हैं, और जो अनुमान लगा रहे हैं रिजल्ट के बारे में, ओके, स्टडी का क्या रिजल्ट आएगा, क्या निष्कर्ष आएगा, और जो निष्कर्ष है हो सकता है वो निष्कर्ष आपके अजम्पशन के हिसाब से है, अनुसार है, या आपके अजम्पशन के अनुसार नहीं है, आपके अनुमान के अनुसार नहीं है. So that's why you have to understand that the hypothesis that you have stated, that may be true or that may not be true, and that will be done when you will state the hypothesis. Hypothesis is a type of supposition, and further this is also an intelligent guess. You can intelligently guess to state the hypothesis. And further, how you can guess, how you can state a hypothesis, and what are the different sources that you can use for stating hypothesis, that we will discuss. Sources of hypothesis. Here you see different sources are just like, first of all, experience of the researcher is the first source. As a researcher, you might have you can say experienced many things, because you have inclined yourself, you have involved yourself in the process of study. So that's why, and you have also gone through, you have also studied the review of related literature. So that's why when you went through the review of related literature, you got many experience that what type of hypothesis that have been stated earlier in a similar types of problem. Then that will give you a type of understanding for stating hypothesis of your study. And the second source is background knowledge of background knowledge and study, whether you have the background knowledge or not, whether you have studied the theoretical part of your study or not, whether you have received, whether you have acquainted with the theoretical construct of your study or not. That will also help you. Then for the another source is intellect to understand the theory, whether you have got a clear understanding about the theory or not, whether you are able to analyze and interpret the theory or not. So that will also help you for stating a good hypothesis. Then analogies and argument, the reasoning part, you can say the logic and reasoning, okay, about certain aspect. So the analogies and the arguments basing upon the logic, that also further help you for stating hypothesis. That is also another source of hypothesis. Then scientific theories, I have already said that the theories that you use in the process of teaching and learning, in education, in practicing education, okay, for developing skills and competencies. So here the scientific theories, you can say different aspect of the scientific theories is also another source for stating hypothesis. Then authentic knowledge of the researcher. Then literature studies, I have already said that the more studies you will study, you will analyze and interpret, then the understanding and more knowledge that you will get, more and more understanding you will get. So that's why that will help you for stating the hypothesis. So that's why literature study is the most important aspect for understanding different studies and for making or for shaping your study like a beautiful study, like a type of you can say innovative study, so far as the present context of knowledge and practices are concerned. Then expert opinion is expert and subject. Expert opinion is also another important source for stating the hypothesis. So many a time you can also develop certain discussion with the experts, with the subject experts. They can also help you. They can also tell you that how you can state the hypothesis. And further, now we'll focus upon that what are the different types of hypotheses that you will state for conducting your study. So here you see, so far as types of hypothesis is concerned, first type is the directional or non-directional hypothesis. Here you have to, if you are providing a direction to your study when you are stating hypothesis, direction of result in your study, you can say that this is the directional hypothesis. And simply, if you are not providing any direction towards the result of your study, then you can say that it is a non-directional hypothesis. And for the another type, that's called as the research and null hypothesis. Okay, a research hypothesis and a null hypothesis. So what is a null hypothesis, and which is also called as a statistical hypothesis? Okay, so that you will study further. Let me to give few examples about directional hypothesis. In directional hypothesis, it says that there is positive relationship between the academic achievement and study habits of the students. I have taken one example. So there is positive relationship between academic achievement and study habits of the students. So here the relationship between academic achievement and study habits is positive. Okay, so this is the direction. It means the learners who developed a good study habits, definitely they will get, their achievement will be better. And the learners who have not developed the good study habits, their achievement will poor. Okay, so that's why here positive relationship, it says that both the variable will proceed, will go in same direction. Okay, and one variable is helping other variable, means good in habits, high in achievement. So that's why here the direction is clear. The direction is clear. That means the relationship will be positive. It is not simply says that there is a relationship. Rather, the relationship, the degree of relationship and the type of relationship is also mentioned here. That is the positive relationship. And in the second example, here you see students with high test anxiety will score badly in examination as compared to students of low anxiety. So friends, here you see there is a comparison between anxiety and examination score. High anxiety, high test anxiety will score or will contributes bad score or doing badly in the examination. If you have a high text anxiety, then you will do badly in your examination. You will score less in examination. And comparatively further, it says that if you have low test anxiety should be there, but if you have low test anxiety, then comparatively you will do better in your examination. So here we are just specifying the direction. What says high test anxiety, the direction is low test score. Low test anxiety, direction is high test score. Okay, so that's why I'm not saying here low test anxiety. I'm just focusing upon, as per the example one aspect, I'm focusing high test anxiety with score badly in the examination. Okay, so this can be done. So this is the example of directional hypothesis. And further, let me to give another two examples, that is on non-directional hypothesis. Many a time you ask question and I also go through your research proposal at the same time your research report, and many a time I find that the hypotheses are not stated properly. Okay, so that's why being a master student in education, you should be very clear that how you can state your hypothesis. In non-directional hypothesis, here the first example is there is a difference in the academic achievement of B.Ed students enrolled in open and conventional universities. Here you see I have not specified the direction. It will go in which direction, I have not specified it. There is a difference. Example says that there is a difference in the academic achievement of B.Ed students enrolled in open and conventional university. Let a group of students, those have enrolled in the conventional universities, they are studying in conventional classroom situation, in face-to-face learning teaching, face-to-face learning situation, and a group of learners, they have they are enrolled in the open education system, in the open and distance learning system. Okay, so here your hypothesis says that there is a difference in the academic achievement of these two groups, in ODL group B.Ed students and conventional group B.Ed student. But here difference is not specified. Just like in our earlier experience, here you see positive relationship, it was specified that relationship will be positive, and for the high test anxiety will contribute low test score. That was also clear direction had specified, but here direction is not specified, only a difference is there. Okay, so what type of difference? So that is not clearly mentioned here. So that's why we can say that it is a non-directional hypothesis. And further, there is a difference in the second example. There is a difference in the academic achievement of students with high test anxiety and low test anxiety in the examination. You try to understand. So here the difference, simply it has explained that there is a difference. There is a difference in what type of difference between high test anxiety and low test anxiety group students in their academic achievement. So there will be difference, but who will score better, who will score poor, who will score bad, so that is not clarified here. Just like in our earlier example, it was clearly mentioned that high text anxiety, the learners, the examinees who will have high text anxiety, they will score badly in the examination. But here such type of impression, such type of information we are not getting from non-directional hypothesis. So the good hypothesis is the directional hypothesis. So that's why I always state the directional hypothesis but not non-directional hypothesis. When you state directional hypothesis, it says that how as a researcher, how you have better understand your research problem and how you are involved in your study. Then for the next type of hypothesis, that is the research hypothesis, we will study there is a difference between the learning styles of boys and girls. It is simply says that there is a difference between learning style of boys and girls. That means learning style of boys and learning styles of girls. So there is a difference, but whether boys learning style will better in comparison to the girls learning style, this has not explained here. This information is not included with this hypothesis. So that's why this is a research hypothesis, and we can say that any direction is specified here. And taking only the research hypothesis, you can't conduct a study unless further you develop a type of statistical hypothesis or a type of null hypothesis. This hypothesis is also known as H1 research hypothesis. That's called as H1 research hypothesis or general hypothesis. You can say it is an empirical hypothesis, an experimental hypothesis, or a theory hypothesis, or substantive or operation hypothesis. So don't be confused in those names, in those terms, because when you will go through a different research book in education, you will find that the name of hypothesis may be used differently. Okay, but these are the research hypothesis, and this hypothesis, however, cannot be tested, proved, or disproved. So this is a simple types of hypothesis, and you cannot employ any statistics for conducting this study. Further, the fourth type of hypothesis that we will discuss after direction, non-directional research, and further it's the null hypothesis, is the null hypothesis, and this is also called as a statistical hypothesis. Okay, because you have to use certain statistics, certain statistical techniques and methods, certain computation you have to do for testing the hypothesis. It indicates that a null hypothesis indicates that there is no difference or no relationship between two variables. It says that no difference between two groups or no relationship between two variables. So null means there is no relationship or no difference. Okay, and when you will test it, you will find that whether there is no relationship or whether there is no difference. And if there is the difference, if there is the significant difference, if there is the significant relationship, then you have to you can say disapprove, or you have to reject the hypothesis. But null hypothesis provide you a scope, provide you certain process for testing the hypothesis. Okay, and this is also called as a neutral types of hypothesis, because it says that it is not a biased hypothesis. It is not compel the researcher for certain types of biasness, or when you will go through the null hypothesis, you will get an idea that researcher is not biased in his or her approach for conducting the study, for stating the hypothesis. Okay, so that's why the researcher clarifies that there is no significant difference between two groups or no significant relationship between two variables. And friends, where to state a null hypothesis and where to state a directional hypothesis? A directional hypothesis can only be stated when there are sufficient reason is there, when there is sufficient justification is there. As a researcher, you have involved in different types of studies, you have analyzed the review of related literature, and if you have enough data, and literature, that in such type of study, in a particular type of research problem, directional hypotheses are stated, then that will help you for stating a directional hypothesis. And if you are getting an idea about the findings of the study, result of the study, so that will motivate you, that will you can say further direct you for or help you for stating a directional hypothesis, because you are getting a type of result, a type of direction of the result from the earlier studies. And if the direction is not clear, if you are not getting any idea about the findings of the study, whether the relationship will positive or relationship will negative, or there will be zero relationship or no relationship, or whether there will be a significant difference or there will be no difference. Okay, so if such type of data, such type of direction is not, if the researcher, being a researcher, if you are not getting it from the research studies, from the review of related literature, then better to state a null hypothesis, okay, because it is a type of neutral hypothesis. It will not provide space for any type of researcher's biasness. Null hypothesis is symbolically written as HO. HO is the null hypothesis. Let us go forward to understand null hypothesis with certain examples. I have taken two examples here. First example is there is no significant difference exists between the mean scores of boys and girls in their achievement in mathematics. So here you see two groups of students are there. One is the boys group students and the other are the girls group student. Here the hypothesis says that there is no significant difference. It's a null hypothesis. That's why it says that no significant difference between boys and girls, between the boys group and the girls group in their achievement in mathematics. Okay, exist between the mean scores of boys and girls in their achievement in mathematics. So there is a test of mathematics. A test of mathematics has been administered among the group of students. Group of students are the boy students and girl students. After getting the score, it found that I don't know. We don't know what will be the difference, but hypothesis says that there is no significant difference exists between the mean scores of boys and girls. As a researcher, why can you say that boys will do better in mathematics in comparison to the girls? And why do you say that girls will do better in comparison to boys? So keep yourself in a neutral position without giving, without taking help of any type of biasness that whether boys will do better or girls will do better. So that's why being a researcher, you keep yourself in a neutral position and you state the hypothesis, and that's a null hypothesis. You say that there is no significant difference exists between boys and girls. And when you test the hypothesis, taking the mean and standard deviation score of boys and girls in the achievement score in mathematics by using the statistics just like t-test. T-test is the significance difference between two mean. You can use the t-test here and you can find out the result. You can find out the result that whether there is a difference exists, a significant difference exists, or both boys and girls are doing in a similar way. Okay, and the achievement of the boys and girls are more or less same, or really it is different. So that you will be able to do this. You will be able to say this at the after testing the hypothesis statistically. So that's why beforehand you cannot say that whether boys will do better or the girls will do better. Okay, and many studies you will find that the researcher they state null hypothesis. The second example, just like there is no relationship between achievement and self-concept of the students in secondary school examination. Okay, the students in secondary school examination, here two variables are given. In the first example, two groups are there, boys groups and the girls groups, and variable was 1. And there you can use the t-test. Further in our fourth and other blogs, we'll discuss about statistics, that what statistics you can use in what type of study. And in the second example, here correlation statistics will be used. So that's why two variables are taken here. One is achievement of the students, secondary students, and self-concept of the secondary students. So self-concept is one variable and achievement is another variable. Whether there are any connection, whether there are any association, whether there are any relationship between these two variables of a group of students, that is achievement of the students and self-concept of the students. How can you say that the relationship is positive or relationship is negative, or there is no relationship, or relationship is zero? You cannot say that being a researcher. So that's why keep yourself in a very safe position, in a very neutral position. Don't jump for any type of biasness in your study. So that's why without taking a bias, by adopting a neutral approach what you can do, you can just state a null hypothesis. Just like there is no relationship between, or there is no significant relationship between achievement and self concept of the students in secondary school examination. Okay, so that's why in these two examples you will find that we have used the concept of null hypothesis. Okay, and for testing the null hypothesis you have to use the statistical technique. Just like in the first example here, you have to use the t-test, and in the second example you have to use the correlation statistics. Friends, already I think 1 hour, more than 1 hour, 1 hour 10 minutes we have discussed. The next important units are another 2 units of this block, that is sampling and then tools and techniques of data collection. I think let me to conclude my session today today here, and in our next session we'll take another 2 units of this block, that is unit 12 sampling and unit 13, that is tools and techniques of data collection. Friends, just to recapitulate, today we discussed 2 units of third block of your course MES 016 educational research. Third block is research design. In unit 10, in the first unit of this block, we have discussed about identification of problem and formulation of research question, how to select a research problem, what are the different sources that you have to use for selecting a research problem, and what are the different types of theme, types of issues and concerns of education that you will select for your dissertation work that we have discussed. And further, we have discussed about research question, how to state research question, and what is the importance of research question, and further how research questions help for stating the research objectives, at the same time for stating research hypothesis, and what are the different sources for stating the research question, that also we have discussed. And further, we discussed about the concept of hypothesis and the different sources of hypothesis, from where you can get knowledge and data for stating the hypothesis, that we have discussed. We have also discussed about different types of hypothesis: directional hypothesis, non-directional hypothesis, further a type of research hypothesis, and we have also discussed about your null hypothesis, that is also called as statistical hypothesis. And we have also discussed different sources of hypothesis, that how you can state hypothesis with certain examples we have discussed. In our next session we'll discuss the another 2 units, that is sampling and tools and techniques of data collection. In next weekend we'll discuss our next session. For more queries, you can write to me, niradhar@ignou.ac.in. You can go through my Facebook account. In my Facebook account archive, you will find many video lessons are there, especially for the MA education learners. You are asking me, you are writing me mail about how to proceed on in your study, how to engage yourself in studies, how to conduct the dissertation work. So please go through the video archive which is there in my Facebook account, also in my YouTube channel. The title of my YouTube channel, the name of my YouTube channel is Transforming Education, and you'll find that more than 242 video lessons are there. Mostly the videos are from your MA education program, and also you'll find many other videos that addresses different issues of different themes on education. So you'll find beautiful videos that will help you a lot for your study. You can also go through my Twitter handle. The same videos and other important learning resources you can also get from these social media accounts, maybe Facebook, maybe your YouTube, as well as Twitter. So friends, in our next session we will discuss the left out aspect, the other aspect of this block. Thank you.